Ludger Paquin. Photography, jewelry, steampunk, painting, prints, digital prints, etchings, engravings, drawing, illustration, sculpture, fiber arts, mixed media, tools, electronics, robotics, etc. If you go to bed at night without learning something new that day, your day is not complete. Ludger Paquin, 1973. L. Paquin Films Incorporated, 1955 to 2010, Memories of a General Store, English, voice to text. Tremblant Express. Tremblant Express in a few words. Tremblant Express is a bilingual monthly publication devoted to the lifestyle, sports, and culture of Mont-Tremblant. We publish reports, in particular, as well as exclusive interviews with sports stars and the major economic players who have allowed our community to take its place on the world stage. Our objective is to allow our readers to fully grasp the lifestyle in this beautiful part of the world and all the events and activities that take place here. Peter Duncan. Member of the Canadian Alpine Ski Team from 1960 to 1971, a professional skier from 1971 to 1979 and American champion in 1965, Peter Duncan participated in the 1964 Olympic Games in Innsbruck and those from 1968 in Grenoble. Indronificated to the Temple of Fame of Skiing in Canada, at the Pantheon of Quebec Sports and recipient of the Governor-General Medal, Peter has long been a ski commentator on television. Peter Duncan is a Canadian-trained alpine skier who competed in the 1964 and the 1968 Winter Olympics. He was named to the Canadian National Alpine Team in 1960 at the age of 16 and competed at the national level for the next 10 years until 1970 before retiring.
Ludger Paquin was born in 1900 in Escanaba, Michigan. The family came to settle in St. Jovite, now downtown Mont-Tremblant, in 1903. At the age of 14 he took a job at Gautier, the village general store. Built in 1895 by Leandre Gautier, the business was subsequently left to Leandre's son Édouard in 1912. Ludger quickly won his boss's trust and Mr. Gautier gave him more and more responsibility, including the correspondence and the purchase of merchandise. In 1925, Ludger married Anne-Marie Bedard. They had 5 children, Jeannine in 1926 to 2020, Yvette, 1928 to 1946, Jean-Louis in 1931 to 2013, Jacques in 1935, and Pierre in 1943. Édouard died suddenly in 1954 and in 1955, Ludger Paquin became the owner of the business and gave it his name. A young man of the village, Jean-Guy Ouimet, hired by Édouard, bridged the gap between the two administrations. He spent 10 years in the company before launching a 25-year career in the police force, after which he returned to work in the business for another 20 years. If I remember rightly, Ludger was a part of my father's circle of friends. Despite the large age gap, they shared passions such as the fishing club Les Sautours, organized on Gaston Gervais's initiative for their group of hunting and fishing enthusiasts. You could find just about everything in the store: flour, sugar, canned goods, tools, clothing, leaf tobacco. It was also a community gathering place, and I remember going there with my father and being fascinated by this Ali Baba's cave. Ludger's children helped out in the store, of course, but each of them chose their own path. After studying at HEC, Jacques took over the family business when his father died in 1975. The Paquin Films customers were an eclectic lot. There were locals, naturally, but also people from nearby villages convinced they could find what they needed here. Tourists, too, were fascinated by this old-time store with its inventory as comprehensive as it was diverse. Year in year out they came to find what they needed for hunting and fishing. Because they spoke only French, the employees had the brilliant idea of creating an exhaustive bilingual catalog to deal with the language issue and thus meet the needs of the Anglophone customers. L. Paquin Films Incorporated also had a social role to play. It was there that you went to get the latest news and chat with the people you ran into. Entering the store, a relic of a bygone age, felt comforting. From floor to ceiling there was up-to-date merchandise, but also heritage items we didn't realize were still being produced. Sometimes outdated things that made you smile suddenly became indispensable. I remember, for instance, having to ask Jacques, alias Le Blonde, to find some ski equipment from the 40s for Tremblant's 60th anniversary. Sure enough, he had it in stock. With its wood-crafted facade, the building's architecture raised as much curiosity as it did admiration for a lost aesthetic. Its appearance at the time was so remarkable that it was included in Louis Seguin's book Les Commerces Immortels du Québec, Quebec's Immortal Businesses, whose preface, written by the late Serge Bouchard, said, "The new fashion, the real, consists of capturing the true face of the old. Not to ponder, but to use."
Ludger Paquin Art. Curriculum Vitae. Facebook. YouTube. Twitter. Pinterest. Instagram. Zoom.